Good afternoon, everybody. Skip Jeffries here. I guess we call this falls into the In the Kitchen series here. We do a Sunday church group and kind of meet and we kind of discuss Bible lessons every Sunday, I guess afternoon. So we get together, have some food, and everybody kind of brings a side dish or a main dish. And today we got tasked with doing a side dish. So I want to try. I looked up the recipe for. I've always wanted to try this. It's I guess rib corn. So we're gonna go ahead and see if we can split these corns up and get things prepped up and ready for this. I got 6 ears of corn here, so we'll go ahead and see what we can do with this. And they recommended highly all the places I looked for recipes to find yourself a sharp knife. So I went ahead and sharpened this one before we even started. Yeah, I decided I'd add the mallet here just to make things a little bit easier and go a little bit quicker, because they said it was the hardest thing to do was to cut through this thing, or the cob itself. So this kind of makes light work of it. I'll just go ahead and we'll knock off all the ends here on the rest of these things. They didn't really specify how far down to cut it, so I just kind of, at the edge of the last row of kernels, I kind of put the knife and then I slice it down. I normally like to clean as I go here. I hate messes. And then on the tops, I probably just do like a thumb's distance from the top of the corn itself. And it makes pretty quick light work of cutting through this stuff. So. And the corn itself, I wish we had little farm vendors around here. I haven't seen any on the roadside, but that's the best place to get corn. But these I picked up here from Walmart, so we're going to give these a guys a go. And ideally, you want to cut as straight as you can through there. That one there, I kind of veered off and got a little crooked, so that might make it difficult when it comes to split these things in half. Yeah, the mallet I'm using too, it's just a regular rubber mallet. Didn't want to damage the knife in any way. I mean, it's not like it's a quality knife. It's just something that we kind of use on the daily in the kitchen. I use it quite a bit in the shop. I kind of washed it off before I started using it, so try not to gross guys out. Anyways, we're on our last kernel here, and we'll see if we can peel these bad boys up and split them. And the other reason I'm doing out in the garage here, watching they're making cookies, but just to mess along with dealing with the corn husks and the hair associated with it. So we're going to go ahead and peel these bad boys. I guess I can just use the bag here that they came in. And I don't know, everybody's got their own way of husking corn. You just try to do your best to get all the hair off. And I don't know if there's a special way to do it to get it done. I mean, we could try from the bottom up and the top down, and whatever seems to work for you. You're always going to have a little bit of husk hair that you're going to have to deal with. So get the most of it as you can get off of there as you can, I guess. I mean, you can always rinse these off too. Yeah, it's one of the hardest things to sweep up off the kitchen floor is this dang husk hair for the corn. We did corn on the cob, I think it was about 2 weeks ago when my granddaughter was down, and I did it in the kitchen, man. It took a while to get all that husk hair up and out. And it was a hot mess. Yeah, that corn we got there too wasn't really the sweetest, so this one here I'm gonna try to do a marinade where we'll let it sit in the seasonings to maybe offset it, because I mean, we're not really looking for sweet corn per se. We're looking for something more of like well, it's gonna be like a butter based seasoning mix that we're gonna be putting on it, kind of letting them soak for maybe a half hour to an hour. So and hopefully that saltiness of the butter and the, I guess, the mix that we're going to be using, or the seasoning, will be enough to kind of bring out the sweetness of the corn itself. But I know the recipe I'm using, it's a steak recipe that I got off online for the Outback Steakhouse. So I mean, I can either attach it in there, or you guys can look it up yourself. It's a pretty easy recipe to find, and I normally keep it pre-made in my kitchen, because there'll be times where I'll do a steak, a quick, easy steak, and you just use those seasoning mix on it, and it's money. Yeah. I don't know how everybody else shucks corn. Surprisingly, I didn't do a too thorough job when I was checking corn. I just kind of grabbed whatever looked somewhat healthy at Walmart. Sometimes that could be a gamble, so I ended up getting more than what I needed. Like I said, I think this was a viral recipe probably, I would say 4 or 5 years ago, I guess. And every once in a while you'll see it kick up on there. That's where I seen it. I was on YouTube yesterday, and I had a lazy Saturday where I didn't feel like doing a whole lot. Did all I run around in the morning, and at night I just couldn't find anything. I mean, this time of year it's hard to find any type of festivals. Normally in the fall down here, that's usually the festival season here. There's always something to do on a Saturday, or at least the weekends. Sometimes Friday nights too, but there just hasn't been a whole lot. And I guess with the holidays and everything else coming up, we'll see. I mean, normally after the 4th of July and Labor Day and stuff, usually these festivals start to kick off in these smaller towns around us. And we've checked out quite a few since we've lived here. So I mean, we've been here for 2014. So I mean, we've had some time to look around. Yeah, I got this last kernel here, and then we're going to go ahead and move on to the splitting. If I can get all these hairs off these 6 here. So they were saying the easiest way to dice these things in half is actually cut your cob in half to begin with. And find yourself a level side, and then you just kind of dice it down in half. Dice it down in half. Split up. Oh, a little crazy on me. That might be a lost cause. Yeah, once you get them diced in half, you dice them in half again. So it's like a quarter of a quarter of a quarter. I mean, as you can see, I'll try to make it as quick as possible here. And there's some people that'll actually, I guess, dice them just a solid cob going all the way down. You can do that too. Just to me, it'd be a little hard to keep it straight, and I think you'd have a lot of lost causes like this one here again. God bless it all. And once you get past the halfway point, it seems to snap it pretty good. I hate having wasted corn, but I can't grill it. We'll keep rocking and rolling on this. Knock out what we can. See if we can get it split down. I guess the key is to keep your knife somewhat straight. Some of them will split pretty easy and others are difficult, so it is what it is. Lost that bad boy. We hit the floor, but we'll rinse it off. Can't get too much onions when you're doing that. Some of these cobs are pretty easy to cut. Not doing so well for the home team. Should be our last one here. Alrighty, I'm going to go ahead and head into the kitchen and mix up my marinade. Melted a stick and a half of butter here. What I've got here is my own kind of like Texas Roadhouse steak recipe seasoning, copycat. What it's got in there is 2 teaspoons of kosher salt, teaspoon of black pepper, half a teaspoon of chili powder, quarter teaspoon of turmeric, quarter teaspoon of garlic salt, 2 teaspoons of brown sugar, half a teaspoon of paprika, and a quarter teaspoon of garlic powder, and a quarter teaspoon of onion powder. And kind of just mixed it into the container here. I usually make a full container of this. I've got roughly just between a quarter and a half, so I'm going to dump that in its entirety into the butter itself and just kind of mix it. You can use oil. I've seen people use oil too. I just figured butter would be better flavor on corn for some reason. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and stick the corn ribs into the bag here. Just an ordinary Ziploc. You can use freezer or whatever. Basically, going to stick all these in here and pour that mixture over the top and just kind of swish it around. I figured I'd let the seasoning kind of sit into it. Hopefully get sucked into the corn kernels itself. And if I was doing this recipe, I'd probably use only 4, but I mean, depending on how many people you're having, I kind of went with a cob of corn per person for our group here. So give her another quick whisking here, and then we'll just dump it over the top and kind of swish it around, let it marinate for a couple hours here. I don't have to be there till 5 o'clock, so we've got a couple hours here. Give me time to clean up. I've been doing kind of the other stuff all day today here, but we'll just pour it over the corn here. Try to get most of it, or all of it, incorporated with the mix. Seal your bag and just kind of toss them around. And some people, you could, I guess, actually brush it on each rib itself, but I mean, it all depends on your preference. I figured this way I could let it kind of sit and marinate for at least a half hour to an hour before I put it on the grill. It looks like it's got a pretty good coating on there. Massage it in. kind of hoping to have, I guess, a little more marinade pour over the top. And I sprinkle on the parsley and stuff, but I'm just gonna have to go with what we got here. So. Onto the grill. Alright folks, got the grill warmed up to about 400. We're going to turn it down just a tad. We're going to add the corn ribs onto the grill itself. They've been marinating for roughly about 45 minutes or so. And I've heard from 1 or 2 sites that they say to kind of leave them on the grill for a good 10 minutes. And some people say flip them, some people say don't flip them. But I mean, you only eat the kernel side, so we're going to probably play it by ear here. We're going to probably have to rotate it a little bit. Like I said, I use probably about 6 ears of corn, and I mean, normally for our group, we usually have between 6 and 8 people attending, so hopefully everybody shows up, and if not, if there's more, then hopefully everybody will get a taste. I've tried this recipe for a while now. Yeah, that does smell good grilling up here. Now I did reserve a little bit of the marinade kind of brush on top of these things. Give it a little flavor kick, so hopefully that'll do it some justice here. Do a little bit of a reserve over the top of these things, just kind of brush it on. Then it's the same mixture before. I kind of used like a half a stick of butter with some of the seasoning and kind of just played it with my heart, or mixed it with my heart on the content of it, but hopefully this turns out. Like I said, I wanted to try it. We had our granddaughter down and chew up and down with the corn rib, the idea, so she can be a picky eater at times, but hopefully it'll turn out. Hopefully it has enough of this marinade for the rest of this corn. I think we'll be alright. But all in all, it wasn't that bad of a recipe to put together. I mean, I think the hardest part was cutting the corn, so looks like we may just have enough marinade. Now we'll go ahead and close the lid and kind of set a timer for, we'll go 5 minutes here. Alright folks, we're sitting at about 5 minutes in. Just going to quickly give them a quick check. They're starting to brown up here. They're starting to curl up like they said they would. Depends on how much charring you want on them. I think I'm going to try to flip them a little bit to even out the cook process. Like I said, the ones in the front here, we can probably keep those guys going for a little bit and we'll swap them out, the ones in the back. Yeah, for some reason, as long as I've had this grill here, the front has always been a lot cooler than the back here. But these longer tongs get a little hot. There goes my bowl. Left side, or the right side here too. So we'll probably do a little bit of grill rearranging here. About 2 minutes or so. Let these kind of cook up a little bit longer on this side here. Yeah, as you can see here, the ones on this side here got that nice little golden tinge going on with them. Flip that one back over too. Yeah, we'll let it go for maybe another 3 more minutes. Alrighty, we're sitting at about 10 minutes. We'll take a look at them. The ones in the back here have grilled up real nice and got a nice little char going on with them. So I'm going to go ahead and take those off, probably transfer some of the other ones to that area of the hotter part of the grill here. Those cook for a little bit longer. But yeah, all in all, I think it pretty much turned out. I was expecting it to be a lot juicier than what they are. I did sample some off camera. Yeah, they've got a nice char going on some of these here. Go ahead and move these more to the center. But yeah, I mean, as far as this recipe goes, it's not too back-breaking. I mean, it's relatively pretty easy to cook them. I mean, the prep time, like I said, outside of cutting the corn cobs, everything else is pretty simple. Yeah, we'll let these last few kind of cook a little bit longer, and hopefully they'll come out to what we need. But anyways, I want to thank you guys for watching.